Okay, let's just take a look at the basic pull downs as an introduction to the program. Obviously, on the main screen, there's a few things. You've already noticed on the bottom right, that's your validation and licensing stuff. Up to the top, you're going to see that I show what the active waiting file is. More on that later. Game day, what's the set game day? Active string for the team or for the players, and again more about that. And then on the bottom, just some update times for when you're parsing data. Anyway, for the basic pull downs, you've got your website, so you can launch over, and we'll see all of these more in detail. This is just an intro. So you have your websites, you have the roster. You can update the full roster. You can display it. You can look at the schedule, again, parsing the schedule and displaying the schedule. These waiting files, more about that later, but you can load them. You can display the team, display the player, and you can save a waiting file. Your parsing routine is really the heart of the program, right? Because it's going to parse the data. Most of the data comes from the ESPN website, so you can parse all the team and player data. You can parse the full charts that will have injuries, and that's important because when the program looks to pull the player data, if a player is injured, well then of course his data is not going to be pulled in. So that's more about that a little bit later. You have your team standings, your Vegas spreads, your scores, and then there's a one-click update. Again, I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Databases, this is where you view databases. You can look at the full charts, your team stats, standings, your player stats, the spreads, and so on. Predictions, to actually, once all the information is loaded and active, you can set the game date, assuming you have the active player string, as I mentioned earlier. Again, more about that, and then you can run your predictions, and the ultimate is you'll get a report. And then, of course, under reports, you could actually print out the latest report, the prediction report with scores, and then there's a team standing report. And then, depending upon when you purchase the program, there may be actually some additional reports that I will add to the program. Under administration, you could set up your printer. You can default to the screen or to the printer. I always default to the screen, and then if I want to set it to the printer, I can. Your license verification, you should already be familiar with that. You may not, in fact, be familiar with the special clear. That's only if I tell you to run it, and that will really erase all of the information in your registry, so therefore you'd have to you'll wind up getting 5 more generated codes, and you'd have to run through the validation process again. But sometimes that's necessary if the registry gets corrupted. Under helps, you can see we have pull downs there, and more with that later, and then you can exit the program.